nothing new coming in, nothing new can come out. No new input, no new output. So that's why the investor's mindset is so important, because in continuous growth, you're just like, I can literally produce more, think more, do more, be more.
Are you ready to rise from ordinary to extraordinary? People are fed up with ordinary. Ordinary health, broke finances, crappy relationships, disconnected family, work, love, business. Help isn't coming from Wall Street, Main Street, corporate world, governments. They had their chance, and the world isn't doing much better. There are no handouts coming, except the ones you go get yourself, because you choose to go for something more. So where is help coming from? Because we believe people want more extraordinary in their life and are willing to do the work to go get it and live it. So we went on a search to find the top influencers and coaches you may or may not have heard about. Influencers and coaches on love and relationships, purpose and meaning, wealth and finances, health and fitness, business and entrepreneurship, and more. And we brought them to our vineyard, or met them around the world and asked them one question: how can you help people take their life from ordinary to extraordinary? And this is what they had to say.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Rise in the Visionary. We have a special one for you today because this is our visionary commandments, our manifesto. Because just like all good religions have commandments, visionaries have commandments that they live by, that are like a doctrine that helps steer them, guide them, make them the good choices in life so that they get the outcomes that they want in life. So we're going to break down like our top 10. We might have to split this into
we had like
episodes.
20, and then we were like, let's reel this in a little bit, because truly, commandments for me too helps me every day wake up and make sure I'm living in alignment with the best of who I want to be. So my actions, my behaviors, my mindset, my practices, everything is guiding me to release the vision that I have, to be the best visionary I can be. And so these are things that we hope will give you that guidance, will allow you to say like, yes, you know what, if I truly embrace that commandment and I live into that, well, I'll reach the next level of my vision as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about like science has principles, math has principles, living a visionary life needs principle. Things don't happen by happenstance, luck, or chance. We get intentional, we get focused, we develop the skills about it.
Happenstance, luck, or chance.
Like I haven't said that one before and whatnot, but nonetheless, listen. This is going to be a double edition. Yeah. We're going to go through 1 through 5.
Because Vito doesn't quicken through anything.
No. When you got something to say, you take your time saying it.
That's true.
Because that means it's important, and you practice and you rehearse and whatnot. So, are we ready to dig in, smart ass over there?
Yes.
All right, great.
Let's do it.
Because I believe all principles begin with this one. Thou shalt choose to rise from ordinary to extraordinary. All success is going to start with the call to change, the call for more, the lifting of your ambition, because without that tapping of the desire, that tapping of potential and wanting more, you'll accept what's given to you. And what's given to you is ordinary. If you look at the way the world has kind of been designed, there is opportunity for all, but what most get is just ordinary unless we start putting that on our radar and being like, I think I'm going to tap out of that. I'm going to opt out of that and make the choice to be like, okay, I want an extraordinary life in a life that is short. I want that. With that first choice comes the ability to say, I can live extraordinary. Now, how do I go do it? How do I get out there?
And this is basically getting out of the comfort zone, right? Because if you're always living in the comfort zone and you're not like striving for better, then you're not going to be living that visionary way, because in order to really grow and excel and expand who you are and what you're doing out in the world, you've got to have that level of ambition that says like, I'm not going to live in the 4-letter word groups like good, okay,
That's a 2-letter word, just so you know.
Well, yeah,
so
4 or under. But listen, it's all about saying, I want greatness, right? How am I going to get better? So next level.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is you got two callings in life. You got the calling for growth in us, you, the individual.
Yep.
And then you have the calling of growing for others, mission, vision, service in this world. And I think that's the choice that everybody that is choosing to go from ordinary to extraordinary first makes. I have to do what I got to do to not be ordinary and to be extraordinary. And then what do I need to do in this world beyond ordinary, beyond I just clock in my work, I clock in my job, I do my things like that. I go about my day, I consume, but instead I contribute. And that's the calling that we all have to kick out with. When you hit that, I think you're ready to move on to commandment number 2.
Yeah, let me introduce this one.
What?
I love
Stealing my
commandment number
thunder.
2. And that is, thou shalt not be defined by the past, right?
Oh, 'cause the past is
Instead,
ugly at times.
be open to the doors of the future and the opportunity, right? Because so many of us can get caught up in past circumstances, even present circumstances, and think that that's going to define who you are or where you can go from here. It's all about saying, nope, you know what? The past doesn't define me. Right now, my situation, if it sucks, that doesn't mean I suck. Just because back in the day when I was building programs and trying to go online and trying to build my business, and I literally invested over $50,000 failing over and over again because I had no idea what I was doing, I still never defined myself as a failure. I never said, Anna, you're just not good enough to do this. You're not smart enough to figure this out. You're never going to be successful. And I could have, because I had poor money mindset back then, And,
I remember that.
And Vito became a mentor in my life when I needed him the most, because at that point, I never defined myself as a failure, but I needed direction, right? So it's looking for opportunity and future goals that allowed me to really grow into the next phase of my life.
Yeah, I mean, a visionary, somebody that sees the world in bigger ways and wants to go do things in bigger ways, they just never let their past or their circumstances limit their potential out there for the future, because that becomes the shackle that holds us back, and we can't move forward when we're tethered and held back to something else. So what defines you are the choices that move you forward in that vision that you're chasing. And that's why we're always just like, versus worrying about the past or the circumstance of the thing, you should always be moving towards vision. That's the opportunity that's always open for you, and nothing can stop vision. Like, we're shooting this episode in this time of the coronavirus outbreak, and I think about our last guest that just came in, Cody Hoffine, who's creating the real estate freedom formula out there. And he had every reason to be able to be like, you know what? This outbreak is going on. I'm going to shut this thing down. The circumstance is closing this down. Or he could be like, no, the open door to the future of possibility is the fact that right now, while a lot of people in circumstance are
hunkering down,
small,
right?
Hunkering down, staying just in the moment, which there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not visionary thinking. He's like, nope, while the world sleeps and quiet, I go big. I'm going to build something in this time. And he's just like, we got work to do. We got a vision to march forward.
And yet,
that's the kind of thing.
He did wear a mask and gloves on the plane, so he was still smart as he traveled.
Yeah, I mean, that's all great. But guy, like, when you have like the door in front of you open, you learn to stay the course. And staying the course is an important skill set to have, because the world is going to want to knock at you. People are going to want to knock at you. Circumstances are going to want to, but that's ordinary thinking. The extraordinary person, aka the visionary like you, is always just like, I don't play victim in life. I never let this day be what defines me. It could be a bad day, it could be a bad situation, but you're still like, there's tomorrow, there's forward momentum. I can go something that, because have you ever seen a biography, a movie, a story where it's just like, you know what? I played victim my whole life, and this is the story of my victimhood. I never got to the mountaintop because I let my past define me, and I stayed broke in my mind. I stayed broke in my life. There is yet to be a story of rising up that starts with that through line
Yeah.
or has that through line. It's always the fact that the person made the choice to not let the past define them,
Amen.
to not let circumstance define. Look through all the greats. That's why I'm a little bit of a nerd by reading biographies and stuff.
Is,
because that you learn the stories of life.
Yes. And Vito, when you started saying that example of tell me the legends that have done great things in the world, and have they stayed in that, in that poor mentality, but you've also never read stories of those successful people in the world that have just had it great. No wrenches thrown in the journey, no struggles to face, no challenges to overcome. It's like everybody's going to have it. So it's not allowing those circumstances and challenges to halt your progress or to completely derail what you want to do with your life. It's like, got to stay the course, like Vito said in the beginning. So
I mean,
love it.
When you can pick up that clue that you're like, okay, so the greatest people throughout history, and even just whether you look at the people like the Abraham Lincolns and that kind of stuff, where you're just like mentors, people that you look up to that are going after in their life, go ask them. So how often do you play victim and do you stay stuck in the past?
How many times have you failed and really
then
found
just let
struggle?
that hold you there. It's a clue. Instead, you got to just be like, I focus on the greatest thing that I can do. Because to let the past no longer hold you down, shackle you, be the prison of your life, you got to then adopt our third commandment. Thou shalt have an investor's mindset. A visionary is always willing to invest in their knowledge, their mind, their personal development, their professional development, their environment, their business, their family. The list goes on. They're always investing in all those things because it ain't like society preps this for you. It's not like when you're pumped into the school system, they're like, let us help you go and live an extraordinary life. They're more like, can we teach you how to get in line quickly, get a credit card quickly, and follow the rules quickly? And you're just like, I'm opting out of that right there because that's freaking ordinary.
Right.
But also, none of us came out of the womb, birth, to be like, I know how to go kick ass in life.
No. Everyone's got to learn.
Put it on the radar to be like, if I want certain things, whatever those qualities are in your life, I want to have a strong mind. I want to have a strong family. I have an amazing relationship. I want to have good wealth and the ability to create impact in my life. You're like, that shit ain't being taught at school.
Right.
It ain't being taught in religions. It ain't being taught by government. So instead, you're like, it goes on the agenda. It goes on the list to go out there and be like, I'm going to build those skills by saying, what do I invest in? What do I got there? My top favorite one to go invest in is always the ability to generate and control money to the fullest potential that you can.
Ooh, I love that.
That's a big one.
Everybody does. Well, I feel like a lot of people are used to the traditional ways that you invest in yourself, right? So, when
Like
I'm
school,
going through
universities,
school,
yeah.
and then you invest in college because that's what everybody does, and then you get out of college and you're just like, okay, now what? Most of the people that get out of college don't find a sense of urgency or necessity to continue learning and continue investing in your growth, both personally and professionally. And I don't think I read a book after college for at least 5 years because I was so sick of reading textbooks.
That's what I inherited in this
but
relationship.
I had never grown up reading books like personal growth. Like I wouldn't pick up a Tony Robbins book or Darren Hardy book or John Maxwell book. I just didn't think that way until I meet someone that is doing that, or I hear something of someone who's doing that, and then I get interested and I'm like, oh, if that person's doing it, it's probably a good idea. And the moment I took 1 ounce of energy just to grow personally and read a John Maxwell book. It was like,
One of my favorites.
changed my whole life. So a lot of times it doesn't have to be a big investment to get started, but it's getting started in ongoing growth.
Yeah, I mean, but
investing time and energy.
To your point there, so you introduce to people that are more successful than you.
That's right.
And you're looking at what they're doing or asking them, what are you doing? They're like, I fucking always read. I study. I do courses. I have mentors.
Yeah.
I have a network. I have all these things. And you're like, huh. I could try to figure out a new path on my own. Or I could be like, So you're doing that? I remember because it was for me. I remember when I read The Compound Effect as an example from Darren Hardy, and he's talking about like, so we journal, we track, we measure, we diligently remind ourselves. And I'm like, this is a dude that interviews all the 8-figure up people in the world, 9-figure up people. So he's compiling all the knowledge of the greatest people in the world. He's like, yeah, they all invest in certain skills and things. I was like, I ain't going to try to figure this shiz out on my own. I'm just going to be like, okay, if that's what these guys are all doing, I'm going to do it. So I'll journal, I'll track, I'll measure, and I'll invest in my consistent ability to think better, control my situation better, make money better. And that's the thing. Like when you look at so many people that are living ordinary income as an example, they've never sat down and been like, can I make money making? Can I make understanding how money works and finances and this stuff so that I know how to control it better? Now, nothing is 100% in our control. But when I was broke, I had to literally be like, I don't know my way out of this. So I'm going to start doing everything in my power to start studying money, business, marketing, because I didn't know how to do it. I had to go figure it out. Like my dad never learned how to make more than $75,000 a year.
Right.
After 4 years of study of money and finances and this, I'm like, we learned how to make that in a month. Yeah. And I'm nothing special. I don't even got the kind of things of the people like the freaking Tony Robbins and the Richard Bransons. I'm like, I don't even know. Like, it's not in our capability yet, but it is in our capacity. Because I'm like, I can continue to study. I can continue to learn. I can start understanding leverage versus transaction, all this stuff, and model what they're doing and always be investing to gain the skill that can be improved on. That's how we get this stuff going. And if you're not willing to go out there and be like, what do I aim this at? Because if I wanted to be like, let's give you some aim and some actions out there, I'd be like, okay, number one, do you have an ever-growing, active, and intentional list of books, podcasts, audio that you're constantly taking? Now, not like Stephen King, Game of Thrones books, Harry Potter, all fun stuff, by all means. But if that's the majority of your time, that's not new skill. That's escape, which can be fun in its own right, but that's not the same as like
it could
what
be intentional
skills?
If you're a writer and you're trying to come up with new creative ideas.
Yeah, that's actually that's valid.
Like, but it's got to be in alignment with where you need to grow and develop. That's what you're saying, right?
Well, I'd be like, number one, are you consistently reading books about mindset and personal development of your mind? Are you studying business, marketing, human psychology, history, and biography? Those are the like big categories I'd put out there. Sociology, things like that, human behavior, because we're a human species, so to understand each other better helps us interact better, market better, build business better, contribute better, etc. Then just a little bit of history would be great, so that you can understand the perspective of the world and the people that we're surrounded by and the cultures that inhabit this one planet underneath the sky together. You'll then be able to be like, okay, I know how to invest in people again. Not just me, not just what I want, but in how we all live together. So I'd be making an agenda.
Especially if you're in the space of coaching others and working with people.
Oh, heck yeah,
and
yeah.
You have a brand that surrounds, the need to really elevate people. Your people skills are necessary in that situation, just like ours are. That's why, when I was investing.
You're always still telling me I got to work on my people skills.
Well, yeah, of course. Because,
I'm a little rough around the edges.
But that is also beautiful in its own right, because I love that about Vito, because he says, if they my people, they're my people. If they ain't my people, they can leave. Because, we all got time in the day to deal with who we want. But what I love is that this is intentional learning as well. Because if you find yourself struggling in your business, or you find yourself struggling personally with clarity and what you need for your life or what you want in your relationships or whatnot, be intentional about what you're consuming and what you're learning and investing your time in. I remember when I was at High Performance Academy, And I was in this process of really trying to figure out how to deliver the next phase of influence and coaching with my clients. And at the time, I'm just teaching fitness and nutrition. And I'm sitting there investing in my personal growth because I want to get to the next level. Meanwhile, I realize, wow, he's offering a certification for this. I could actually learn how to coach others in their life so they can be the next best version of themselves. That was a $10,000 investment to get that certification, but I knew that that is exactly what I needed to enhance my tool belt of skills to deliver the next value to my people, right? Otherwise, I'd stay comfortable where I was doing the same things I was doing, and I wouldn't have anything different to offer someone. So it's about not only what you need personally, but what are the skills you need to deliver that value and service, like you've been saying.
Yeah.
Right?
But also, like, a key thing in sharing what you were just saying there is that, because especially if you're in a coaching expert space type thing, you have the choice about, like, of course you have to dedicate your time to also your expertise, right? Being the best at the best of what you do. But to round out your skill set, because you're like, I could keep investing more fitness, more nutrition knowledge, more fitness, but you're like, hold on, I deal with people. And at some point, the difference isn't more of the fitness and the nutrition stuff. It's what are they dealing with in their lives? What are they dealing with in their heads? So you're like, I'm going to gain this new skill set of high performance, which we're going to talk about in a couple seconds, because that is one of our commandments out there. But you're like, I have to invest in other skills that move the needle forward in your capabilities, your capacities, and your competencies out there. So that's smart thinking about potentially what you got to be putting down. If you're like, I'm lacking here, I'm not strong here, or I want to be better here, make a list of those things and get those podcasts, get those authors, get those books, get that all going. So that's always like the first route. I'm always like, books are the cheapest route. If you can't afford a book, get the free downloads. Do what you got to. Go to those people's YouTube channels and watch their free videos. Yeah. There should be no excuse why you don't have an investor's mindset. But after books, I'd be like, courses is the next thing. I'd be like, allocate money in your life. If you only have an extra $100 a month, you allocate most of that to your growth of here, because in that you gain the ability.
For those who aren't watching the video.
They're watching the video. They
yeah,
see
but
me.
If they're just listening to the podcast, they don't know where you're pointing.
Why would you only be listening to the podcast?
You could have pointed to your heart.
Yeah. Well, people, you should see these buggy eyes on video and whatnot.
Totally.
So you should go to the YouTube show to see this.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. Way to pull me off course. Take me off course, and I'm off on a fucking rail and whatnot. But courses, because I remember when I was motherfucking broke and I was just not, I remember like a particular series, like it went exactly like this. I was just like, I hear a webinar with Brendan Bouchard and I get introduced to this concept of online and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, damn, I can't buy this crap yet. Millionaire Messenger was like 1995 book. I was like, I could do that. Made a little extra money. And then he had the expert CD wrote like 6 CDs, the experts roadmap.
Oh, you got them all in your office still?
Oh yeah, I still got them.
We should take a picture of all the CD-ROMs. Are they called? God, I don't even remember. CD-ROMs.
What era were you born in? There's just CDs, Anna. They're just CDs. Yeah. Jesus.
Our video guy's laughing at me right now.
Sorry, people. I'm sorry. But nonetheless, that was $197.
Yeah.
But that taught me about the first beginnings of making an online course that got me moving towards that eventually then led to, okay, I've got some traction. I'm getting this online thing going. So what do you need to potentially do? Yeah. Because I watch a lot of people be like, oh, $297 on a course about I'm using getting online as the example here. And I'm like, you'll spend $290 on a pair of shoes, jeans, and a shirt, but you won't spend it exactly dinner, but you won't spend it on the growth of your ability to go make money or to build a business and whatnot. No wonder you broke. No wonder you struggling.
And that's not who we're talking to on this podcast.
No. But these are examples of people that we run into. How many people get on our calls and are like, "Oh, I can't do $297."
Oh, 100%. But it's the difference between a visionary and somebody that doesn't just dream about their vision, is ready to make it a reality. And we always say that to people that we talk to. We're like, is this just a good idea for you? Or do you actually want to make this happen? Because that's your choice. Like, it's literally that black and white.
That's why commandment number 1
There's
is
no gray.
choose extraordinary over ordinary. So we're preaching a little bit to the choir here. But also, if you've ever had these thoughts to yourself, you need to be gut checking yourself. And you're like, oh, darn, I was that person that did that was afraid to invest in all that. Cool. Remember we said commandment number 2 is shut the doors on the past and be willing to open the door of opportunity. Now, trust in yourself that if you go get a course, go get a book, go get a coaching program or something like that, you'll go execute on it because it matters, because you made the choice that I don't want to live like this anymore. I want to live for more. And that's what matters right there. That's why... You were going to say something?
Well, there's this really good metaphor that my sister shared with me.
Okay,
and she's into the spiritual world. So
just
like,
ruining my role.
I just loved this thought when it comes to investing and not hoarding what you have. And, if you think about it, if you're not willing to, give up some money or give up some time or give up some energy to invest in yourself, you're holding it real tightly. And what the universe sees is that you don't need any more. You got everything you need. So nothing new is going to come in, right? Nothing new is going to come at you because you're telling the universe you don't need anything else. You're holding it so tightly that like you're full, right? So think about that every time you decide not to put energy into something, not to take the time to do something, not to invest the money to get something new that's going to teach you growth, different mindset, that like you're telling the universe you got enough. You got all you need to get the success that you want, the life that you want. I just love that now because I always think about it like, am I giving enough? Am I to grow to the next level?
Well, the thing is that classic saying out there that nothing new coming in, nothing new can come out. No new input, no new output. So that's why the investor's mindset is so important, because in continuous growth, you're just like, I can literally produce more, think more, do more, be more. And that's the reason why, like, if potentially this is like my favorite one of them all, which is why we're spending so much time on it, because it's changed so much in my life. Because one of the key pillars that has helped both of us move our needle in life is the fact that, like, besides courses, we started to understand the importance of coaching programs. Because in coaching programs, what you can tap into in life is the most amazing thing. The map. The freaking blueprints. Nobody builds a house without a blueprint. Nobody's just like, I hope I wing it and this thing comes out. People that have a map are like, that step goes to that step, goes to that step. And that is a speed of acceleration in life. That is a confidence builder. That is the ability to get into a state of flow. That's the ability to have somebody be like, I've done this before. Do you want me to show you how? Or do you want to go dick around for years trying to figure this shit out on your own? Or I could lay it out for you, because trial and error was like the 90s. Today, there are mentors and coaches reaching back to be like, I've done this before.
Yeah.
Now, yes, you must be willing to invest and pay, because I've watched small-minded people. I was watching this thread on Facebook once where this guy was putting out a free webinar that leads to a sales call and whatnot, and all these people that are like, well, this person's already doing 7 figures, so why should he be charging? He should be giving his course away for free. And I'm like, it's taking everything in me to not jump in this thread. But I'm like, that's why you're broke. Why do you think he's doing 7 figures? Because he's learned how to freaking turn around and coach others and get paid for it. That's what you want. That's the broke-minded mindset.
And if you're not asking people to invest in what you've created and what you've designed, and you're just giving it for free, they're not going to value it as much, and they're probably never going to implement it. But then you won't make money,
and then that's why you're still broke. That people don't understand. In order to get value today, barring where you're bartering or you're thief or something like that, we do a thing called money exchange. That's what we do in order to get what we want and move forward.
Yep.
So having this thing just to understand, like,
be willing,
because here's the thing in coaching programs about the beauty, like, random is the enemy of your success. just trying shit all over the place, which I did for years, which is why it took me longer to get out there.
Yeah.
But
at least you're doing something.
right. But if you can get clarity of steps and process, you move faster.
Yeah.
Speed in the market wins. So why would you not want to pay for that?
That's right.
I have no freaking idea. And then the third thing is you need a return on your time. Because for every hour you put in, if you could be getting clarity faster, the step faster, the process faster, you move and then you're feeling like, oh my God, I feel progress in life. And feeling progress in life builds confidence. It builds our belief. It builds our abilities to go take on bigger challenges in life. So be always looking to be like, how do I invest in coaching programs? And the third thing I'd be out there really thinking about allocating resources towards is masterminds, because in there you're learning to tap the power of the group, and that's always an investment in your like I $72,000 a year I invest in mastermind groups because I'm like, the power I've had in every mastermind I've gone in one mastermind I've done 7 figures with 2 people in there. In the other mastermind, we've done near 7 figures with the idea that was birthed out of one relationship in that mastermind. That knowing those kind of things, even relationships that we've built with people inside of there, besides the mentor or the coach, it's the people we've met and the way they've enhanced our lives. That's investments that are paying dividends, compounding yearly.
And I think
daily,
this is most important
monthly,
for people
weekly.
that have been in the game.
I was about
You've
to do a
been
rap and you ruined
investing.
it.
Well, I'm trying to get a word in because, guys, it's hard with Vito going on his rant.
It's
but
true.
it's investment for those that have already put in so much time, energy, courses and coaching programs and books. And you're like an advocate of this investment in your growth, right? You're listening. You're like, yeah, I'm doing it. But maybe you haven't joined a mastermind yet. Maybe you haven't taken that step because it is the $30,000, the $50,000, the $60,000 investment. And you're like, I don't really know if it's worth it. That's the thing you've got to think about right now is that like, okay, am I thinking about being in the right circle in alignment with where I want to grow and what I need to get to the next level? So it is important picking the right mastermind. And to do that is important, but it's like you always pick the mastermind that was in alignment with what you needed to learn. You're like, product launch formula. I need to launch program online. High performance mastermind. I need to get in the circle with other people that are building businesses at high performance level. I thought the same thing. So it's like, if you've been doing it, but you're just still like, I had to really suck it up and make that big investment in a mastermind for the first time 2 years ago. And that's when Vito and I were at the mastermind together and we birthed our best idea ever. And if I hadn't taken that step and said, Anna, you're worth it. You need to be in that room. You need to actually invest yourself instead of always trying to get the feed from Vito and get the download from Vito's experience. I went all the way. And I think that a lot of entrepreneurs need to hear that because they might still be teeter-tottering around, am I really investing in what I need or am I just doing the bare minimum?
I would challenge one thing about that.
Yeah.
An entrepreneur isn't teetering on that because they're an entrepreneur. They already understand the power of a network and growth and the people around you. It's the service provider, the coach, the consultant that wants to move towards, I want to be a business owner or I want to be an entrepreneur. And even business owners are sometimes playing in that world of like, I don't get this yet. Entrepreneurs are at a level already,
I was
like
teeter-tottering. I was an entrepreneur and I was teeter-tottering. I'm saying more entrepreneurs out there might be.
Yeah. But I find there are demarcation lines between I am the service person, business owner, and entrepreneur. And entrepreneur is very different than even a business owner. I own an online business. It's very different than I'm an online entrepreneur. So there are demarcation lines on these things, and we will pick up this argument on a future episode. But I want to make sure that...
Do you guys see what I'm dealing with? Do you see what I'm dealing with here? Yeah.
Hey, you'll see that one of our truths later on ties right into this.
Comment below if you don't really think that Vito's making a good point right now.
Then if you do, you're probably one of the business owners or service providers that doesn't know the demarcation line of how an entrepreneur thinks and what they do different and whatnot, because these are just truths.
So entrepreneur is like visionary.
Yeah. But
Abiding
Anyway,
by the visionary
like,
commandments.
you know what? We should do an episode on the difference between service provider, business owner, and entrepreneur
I
is
like
what
it.
we'll do out there.
I like
because
it.
that's an episode in and of itself.
Boom.
But let me drop one last thought on masterminds, because this is a big thing that I see out there with people, is that they invest in a mastermind too soon, where I'm like, you don't have something built yet. You're like, I don't have the thing built so that I can step into a mastermind and do networking and do affiliation and create leverage and syndicates and things like that. That be wary of, you're like, well, I'm just starting out and I still don't have my offers. I don't really have a business up yet.
Yeah.
I want to go get in a coaching program. Then once you got the thing built and you're looking for strategy more,
Networking.
and you're looking for alliance and how do I leverage what I've done, or how do I find one nuance that somebody can share with me that can catapult things, then you're ready to play in a mastermind.
Agreed.
So just a little bit.
We agree right
of a
there, V.
see. You
Aw,
see.
we're in love again.
That's because of commandment number 4.
Yes.
Thou shalt possess extraordinary health and
and
high performance mindset.
high-performance.
It's a high performance mindset that we figured out how to not tear apart each other when we argue on things. But I think we're going to talk about extraordinary health first.
Oh,
because
yeah. You got to show up. You got to be the vibrant soul in the world that has the ability to truly be like your best in every situation that you're going into. Like, if I didn't have my health in order, I would be floundering around like a fish out of water, because trying to raise a newborn, run a business, work with your husband all day, do all the things that we do, travel and all that, there's just no way to sustain a high performance life and business if you don't have your energy, if you don't have your health.
And there's just no way to perform.
That's right.
Because you're no ability to live your dreams, you're average, you're sick, you're in pain. Like, I remember when I blew my L5S1 and I was living in the constant pain of my back and all that. There was no like, I'm dreaming of the potential of my life. I was just like, how do I get out of this pain? How do I get through this and whatnot?
Yeah.
That stole a good year of my life of just being like, it took all the energy to get through that pain. So that was a year of just pain management versus evolution and growth and progress. And let alone if you're just like, you're here because you're like, I want to perform at a high level. I got something to say. I want to put something out there. But if you're like, I can't take the stage, I can't do the things I need to do. We just presented at that conference and we both go in sick to this conference. And we're like, if we didn't have the skill sets to pull back on our own health and be like, what practices do we got to do? What do we got to do? Because we got to get through 9 hours of presenting and getting through and keeping up the energy for the people to then be like, at the end of those 9 hours, be like, whoa, we got through that day.
Yeah.
But I only got freaking one night to recover for the next day. Remember, I blew my voice out?
Yeah.
And went up. But if I didn't have the practices I do, the next day when I had to get on and I thought I wasn't going to take the stage, but then literally 5 minutes before, I'm just like, strap the mic on. I don't got a good voice. But we're going on, and for 2 hours, it was like the clouds parted and the sun shined enough for me to get through that. And the minute those 2 hours were done, seized up, voice gone. But because of the high performance skills and the health that I've got, I was able to get through and push through what would be a normal adversity that would take the average person out and still deliver on the promise I made to help the people that were in attendance, that came to get that content, that came to get that value.
Yeah.
You need to have that skill set in your quiver if you want to freaking go out and perform and hit the mark in life.
Just think about like your energy right now. Just think about your health. Are you in the best health of your life? Is your energy at its peak? Do you feel so good? You wake up, you're like, yes, I'm ready to tear up this day. I'm ready to crush and own my morning, right? You're getting enough sleep. You're getting the nutrition and the movement that you need, and you're not in pain and you're not always sick. I mean, like, think about that, because how much more successful could you be? How much more impact could you make? How much better would you be at your work if you were at the best condition of your life, if you were in the best health of your life? So think about that, because just a little tweak, just getting 2 more hours of sleep might be what you need to get to the next level. It might not be a whole new business plan. It might not be a whole new strategy. It might just be your health needs to get to the next level for your business to get to the next level. So I always say, like, it always starts there to really say, what do I need to do to get in the best health of my life? And let me make that a priority this year.
Yep. And couple that with the energy. You need the energy. Besides that. Yep. We're all in there. But like sometimes people think health is just like, am I like disease free? Am I this and that? Am I not fighting cholesterol?
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. But health is also about your ability to perform and have the energy to deliver on the mission that you have out there.
Yep.
And that'll be another upcoming episode where we talk more about high performance health in general and give you some of our best practices and tools for that. But
most people know what they need to be doing to get in the next best level. Some don't, but you could probably come up with 2 or 3 things right now that you could change in your life to get in better health and to have more energy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But a lot of people go to the norm stuff. I should work out. Yeah.
Even walk.
I should eat better. Yeah. Okay, great. But that's too general. And general advice sucks at balls. Today, it's more about, can you give me a specific set of blueprints on what it really means to create high-performance energy, as an example out there? But an argument or for another episode.
Discussion for another
because
time,
if
I
we're
guess.
looking at why is it so important to have a high-performance mindset, and that's one of the commandments out there, is because there's a particular skill set around high performance that helps you march forward in life as a visionary. Because clarity is a high performance mindset. The ability to always know what you're aiming at, who you want to be, and what outcome you want in life. Because no clarity, you don't know where to aim, who to be,
You're
how
not plugging
to be.
anything in the GPS.
That you're just like, exactly. Exactly. There is no GPS system that works without where are you and where do you want to go.
Right.
Otherwise, I can't make instructions and I can't make directions.
Yeah.
So clarity is just the ability to focus and know what things you want, how you want to be, who you want to be, and then aiming all intention to always do that. Because life's too short to just be confused all the time or be complacent all the time or be lost in contemplation and just being like, I don't really know what I'm going for here.
I know. Or even to just be stressed or to feel guilty. I talk to a lot of women that are, building their businesses and their careers and their moms. And they're like, oh, I feel so bad when I have to leave my kids, or I feel so bad that, I'm not being a mom 24/7. And I'm like, I think it's important to get clarity now on why you're doing what you're doing, so that if you really believe that what you're doing is important and you're clear that it's going to make a difference in your life, in your children's life, then you're not going to have the guilt or the stress about doing what you're doing, because you're clear that you're doing it for the good of your family. You're doing it for the good of your children. I think about Luca, and when I leave him, I don't feel guilt. I feel gratitude. I'm grateful that I get to go do this. I'm grateful I have the skill sets to make this happen, and that Luca gets to see his mom thrive in life, and that he's going to reap the benefits of success that I create. All of those things.
Yeah. See, the power of clarity, though, goes back to what we always talk about, the power of intention. Because you're like, I'm clear that I don't want to just be a mom. You're like, it's a role I have. It's not like my being. That you're like, I'm also clear that I want to be a successful visionary. I want to be a successful entrepreneur. I want to be an okay wife out there and whatnot.
Dig.
Da-da-da.
That is absolutely right. And it's,
Oh my God, she agrees. Do you see people?
and it's the clarity
Comment
that I
below,
want to be a
Anna.
mediocre wife that doesn't make me feel guilty when I don't talk to Vito after 7 p.m.
But like the thing about clarity, think about this. If you're like the power of clarity, if you know you want to lose weight, well, now you can go focus on exactly that.
That's right.
If you know you don't want to live broke, you can go focus on exactly that. You have to say, this is the thing I want or I don't want anymore. And now you're like all focus, all
And
intention,
this is why.
all energy is directed that way.
Exactly.
And in that, you have the ability to achieve it instead of waffling about it.
Yep.
Man, I don't know if I really want to lose the weight and whatnot. It sounds like a good idea. Well, that's why you'll yo-yo diet forever.
Well,
as compared to the clarity and the conviction that you're like, I want it. Now, back to the thing. go investor's mindset. Be like, how do I invest in gaining that skill set? That's the power of clarity, man.
Clarity. It's the what you want and why you want it. Because obviously, like we said, wrench is going to get thrown, challenge is going to pop up, obstacles coming in the way. And if you're not clear on what it is you want and why you want it, then and why it's important, then you'll just give up.
Yeah, and you got to have courage. And often not talked
high performance
about
mindset,
high performance
right
mindset
there.
is courage. Because what's going to happen if you got no courage? You're going to play small. You're going to play scared. You're going to keep your voice silent. You ain't going to get out and go after the things because you got 3 choices in life. You could step back, you can stand still, or you can move forward. And it often takes courage to not listen to the critics, the naysayers, the doubters, and the people in the family, even sometimes the people that have the best of intentions. Or, can I do it? Can I get after it? Is this something that is there for me? If you don't possess the ability to have the courage to pursue a dream, to believe in self, you're always in the step back or the stand still. And at that point, you're in the ordinary life. As compared to in courage, we always are moving towards extraordinary. So you're going to have to develop that courage muscle.
Yeah.
Because confidence won't be there in the beginning. Because most of the time you're stepping into something new. So you won't have that straight out of the gate. Instead, you got to be like, I got the courage to figure this out and move towards that. You got anything you want.
That's that famous quote that says, courage is not acting it's not acting without fear. It's acting in the face of fear. So you really, everyone has fears. And having courage means you're aware of what you fear and why you fear it, but you're able to overcome those feelings and emotions to reach said vision, result, thing that you want. And it's like, it's really difficult, like Vito said, to do it, but you've got to work on it. And the work is where you really, really thrive. And then that is just having that awareness. So always working through that.
I live in the fear that Anna will strangle me one night every day.
Oh
but I have the courage that I'll wake up.
This is not an X-rated podcast, right?
Why is that X-rated?
Well, having fears of your wife killing you is a little scary.
That's not X-rated. There's two different differences there.
What is it, R-rated?
Sure, let's go R-rated because X-rated is completely different.
Sorry.
Jesus, Anna. Please.
It could be Lorena Bobbitt style. I mean, that's kind of gross, but
okay.
Anyway.
Well, now we're getting crazy. But
let's get into another high performance mindset, and that is having high levels of productivity. And when we talk about productivity with our clients and our VP students, we're always like, listen, being busy does not equal being productive, because we all have the same amount of time in the day, but we've got to decide, are we producing things that move the needle, things that matter on a daily basis? Not all things are created equal, right? So doing the laundry, the dishes, cleaning the bathroom, organizing the closet, cleaning the car out isn't equal to something that you might create as like having a video day like we're doing now, where we're shooting like 8 different ads and podcasts and all sorts of things, because that's going to move the needle for us in other ways, right? So all things are not created equal, and you want to produce more than you're just running around being busy.
Well, that's why none of these skills and commandments are in a silo. They always compound on each other.
Yeah.
The ability to be productive leans on the strength of your clarity. If you're like, I'm clear that I want this and I have to produce this to get where I want to go,
so true.
Then you're able to say no to things like, nope, I don't need to be doing the laundry. No, I don't need to be doing this task. No, I could have delegated that, etc. That the ability to produce leans on your ability to get clarity, because without getting shit done, you will... none of the needle movers get done. And what you do is you live a life of half-dug holes. And that's it. I know I always make fun of you about that, but you've done better.
I no longer live in the land of half-dug holes.
But that half-dug holes, and then the other big thing that people live in is the land of dreaming.
Shiny objects.
I dream that one day, well, I have a great idea. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to launch that. Like we've seen this countless times in network marketing. Yeah, I'm going to own my own business. I'm going to go out there and make this thing, and I'm going to be doing 6 and 7 figures, but then life got in the way and whatnot. I'm like, you never mastered your time. You always lived in the victim. Productivity means you stop living in the time excuse that 90% of the population wants to go use out there. No high performer ever uses time as an excuse, because they're like, I know how to be productive, and I know how to have clarity, get rid of the shit that doesn't matter and whatnot. I'm only focused on these needle moves. We're always in the relentless pursuit of less in order to produce more. But
yeah, and when it comes to being productive, you can almost tell that the stuff that's harder to do is going to be the stuff that matters more. But everyone wants to check off the easy stuff, right? And that's like the less important stuff. I say tackle that hard thing first. Do as much of it as you can in the day. Whatever you have time for at the end of the day, you can, check off your list. But
yeah, you got to know what matters. Got to know
yeah.
what matters. You also got to have a strong psychology.
Oh, yeah.
Strong psychology. If you're always in the victim mindset and circumstance, which we beat up a lot before and whatnot, you will not live in the land of will and intention and focus and determination. So if your psychology's off, I still always feel daddy was mean to me, or this happened in a relationship, or this happened here, and I don't believe in myself, and I don't have confidence, and all the psychological things that can go on, you simply won't have the ability to figure things out and believe in self over the circumstance.
On a daily basis, though, and this isn't just overall, like you might go through spurts of feeling down or whatnot, and that's common, but it's being able to quickly get out of it. If you have a bad day, maybe it's even a bad hour. I tell a lot of my high performers, I'm like, all right, our goal in high performance to have a strong psychology is not to be perfect. It's not to never have a bad day, but it's to start to limit how long that lasts, right? So maybe right now, sometimes something happens in your life and it takes you out for a week. Well, I hope that gets better and it takes you out for a day. And then that gets better and it only disrupts you for an hour. Because Vito and I will have things happen in our life where, all right, hey, I want to share this with you. This just happened. This got me torn up a little bit, or this got me like a little bit confused, or I'm a little bit stressed about this. And we're working towards eliminating that, letting it affect us for hours, even a day, right? Because we got to get our mind back on track and into the ring.
I mean, it's just also simple as stuff like my high energy and my outburst type stuff. I'm Sicilian and whatnot. Where Anna, you could let it be like, oh, he's impatient, he's this and that, and blah, blah, blah. But you're like, he's just a goofball Sicilian that needs to do his outburst and whatnot. And you don't let it affect you. We're like, he doesn't love me. He doesn't this and that. No, God, oh, does he still? You're like, no, he's a freaking douche at times. And that's it. And I get it and whatnot. Let's move on. Because you got a strong psychology.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, this goes with family issues, coworker issues, friendship issues, spouse issues, things that are happening. We always are investing in our mindset to not allow self-limiting beliefs and stress and all these things happen and carry out through weeks or months in our life. It's to start eliminating how long these things affect us, because they are going to affect us. Yep. We're not saying like, be a steel.
But it's a choice how long you want it to affect you.
That is correct. So.
It's a choice. And the last of those high-performance mindset skills, you always got to be working on your persuasion.
Yeah, people
skills. Which is just the ability to get others to commit to their dreams, to move forward, to buy, to connect, whatever the thing is. Without that, how do you communicate with people and whatnot? How do you be able to resolve conflicts or to be a good marketer, be a good salesperson, be a good leader, et cetera, and all that. So
and
those
the
are all
reason
powerful
I love
ones.
persuasion too, in adopting that as a high performer, is that you also have to get people on your side, understanding how to get people to cheer you on with what you need to do in your life, with your dreams, with your aspirations. It's communicating with your loved ones to make sure they know what you're trying to do, what you're in for, what your clear goals are, because people skills isn't just who you want to lead. It's getting the support you need to be the leader. And so, yeah, people skills all over
the place. You want to hit commandment number 5 and then we'll wrap this episode. And
I say we,
you want to bring it home now?
No, I say we wrap it up now.
That's what I'm saying. You want to bring it home now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So she wants to stop at 4 people. If you're angry with Anna, just please comment down below and whatnot. And then we're going to pick up with our 5th commandment in our next episode. So be sure to tune in.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't want to miss these last 6.
No.
Because they are the icing on the cake that we just laid down of being able to live a visionary life. So we're going to see you in the next episode as we continue this mission to help you rise from ordinary to extraordinary. Peace.
What's up, visionary? Did you like this episode? Well, if you're looking to bring your vision to life and into the world, go to thevisionaryplanner.com/podcast to get access to our Visionary Toolbox. It's filled with free tools and trainings from us and all of our amazing guests. Until next time, keep rising up, visionary.